Hi everyone, thought I'd do an update for the new week. I haven't done a video in a few days, so I've been a bit flat out with family problems and everything like that. So now I will go over the 4-hour chart at the moment. So where are we? Coming into the new month, we just get a swing low and then have closes higher, which is pretty good. Just swinging this candle and then accepting higher again. And then you get a good rally out of the bottom. So what did we get up to before it put in the bearish divergence? It got nearly 11%. So that was on the 1 hour as well. We're getting the bearish divergence here. So we'll go into price action yesterday morning. So coming off a 4-hour support level here, we're pretty much getting accumulation. So my thinking would be you would still want to see price move higher again, which it did. I would expect there would have been shorts loading up here with a confirmed downtrend. We'll just put one in quickly and pretty much put it in like that. Oh yeah, there you go. So yeah, trending down. I mean, you can even put it like that. But like compression, you could say. But the point is the closes are higher in the bottom. So there's still demand. So you could say there's probably going to be compression up versus down. And you have a strong support level with a developing monthly value area high in the bottom as well, below this. So there's more possibility of it moving up, being manipulated prior to the new week and Asia open, and even pre-Asia at 8 o'clock. So we get the high volume in the bottom, testing the support level, and then getting rotation back up. So as I've said previously, high volume on the 5-minute is the trigger. I would be worried about this, whereas at 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I'd wait for Asia Open at 9, see what's going to happen with that, and then coming into the new week. So I think I set that at the 4-hour liquidity there. Where did I put it? 4-hour close and open. So I set it there, and we'll go back to the 5-minute. So I think I did a composite, or maybe I did that as 30-minute. That would make more sense. Maybe I did it 1 hour. No, 15-minute. I can't remember how I set this one up. There's definitely something about it. But I was wanting to have an understanding of how price is going to move in here. So where was that? 11:30. So my thinking was it pulled back 11:30, get rotation on the new week, new session, and then rotate back up. Responsive buyers with demand in the bottom, rotate back up, test the liquidity in the top. So how I set this up was, I believe, should have really done it like that. And then you'd come back down and see the test of the bottom, and then as candles tested the liquidity in the top, you would adjust accordingly. The point is no high volume coming through this buying. So you would say probably not an area where you would want to take a trade yet. And in here would be the area. So strong support here with the close and open. And so it's more like a composite 5-minute liquidity, which I've labeled here. So you could do it on the wick, or you could do it on the close itself. The close seemed to be more reliable. I mean, you could incorporate these wicks as well. But that would probably be the area in which I would want it to see and want it to swing as well. So, and it did that with high volume. So that would be the area in which I would want to take the trade. As I said previously, high volume on the 5-minute coming into liquidity, coming into a specific level. What else? And then confirmation for that area, as I've said, with 3-minute liquidity as well. So you get it here. And yeah, it swings that. Tests 50% of the liquidity in the top and then rotates back down. So yeah, what else? So yeah, that would be the 50% test here with liquidity. That's what I would be looking at. What else? I think I just put this in after the fact. So we got 4-hour liquidity in here. If I can get it up. I think I made that as a composite. Can't remember exactly. Oh, that's right. So I put this liquidity in as a composite for 2 hours, essentially, prior to going to sleep, because it would act as resistance. So obviously it didn't, because it tested this 4-hour support, which I was going to go and talk about next. But that's how it was more a composite liquidity in here for 4 hours. And then we get a 50% test essentially. And then rotation back down. Okay, so coming into this, we have, as I put there previously, 4-hour support with the open and closes, and then we have 50% liquidity in the bottom. So you have stacked liquidity in here, responsive buying. We'll go to the 5-minute. So we get the 50% rule perfectly. High volume, 50%. You get closes above the support level, which is what you'd be wanting to see. And then you have the developing monthly VWAP as well. We'll go to the 3 minute. So you have a perfect 50% rule of the 3 minute as well, plus the 4 hour liquidity 50% rule, plus the developing monthly VWAP. So very strong indication of rotation, and you're also getting high volume into that level too. So very high probability that there would be rotation to the upside, which there was. Now, we'll go up to the top for today. So what was I looking at here? Oh, that's right. So put this on 5 minute. Pardon me. So how I set it up with this was composite liquidity in here. You could also do it just off this. But the point is you don't get 50%. So you'd be like, oh, would I take the trade? Would I take it or wouldn't I? And that would be the biggest issue. Or you could go base it off the close. But the point is that the liquidity was tested around 50%. You'd probably say that's about 60%. But the closes, close and open is lower. So there's demand to push price lower as well, which is what's happening at the moment. What else? And then you get an overlap with this liquidity. But we will see if it comes down into this area again. I'll get rid of all this stuff because I don't need it anymore. But even in here, there's like a composite liquidity too. So you would be, it's more untouched liquidity up in here. And then it did the 50% rule on that. Would I take a trade off this? No, only if I was thinking there was a confirmed downtrend. Or you're wanting to scalp. So that's pretty much it. But it was interesting nonetheless to see multiple levels compounding. So you get the 3 minute, you get the 5 minute. So you get the 5 minute coming into the 4 hour liquidity. You get the developing monthly VWAP. You get the 3 minute 50% confirmation as well. And then you get, as I said, 3 minute. Don't worry about the closes. I mean, obviously you'd be worrying about closes if they were below the 50% liquidity. 5 minute gives a good read on the closes where support actually is, with responsive buyers pushing price up. And that's what I would want to see. So but yeah, we get another 50% 4 hour rule, which is excellent. I didn't take the trade because I was asleep, which is always the case on New York, most of the time. But we'll see what happens here. I mean, would I consider this a higher low? Possibly. it was, I would see it as more of a test of the developing monthly VWAP, not necessarily a high or low, as I would want to see the closes a lot lower around here. So I'd want to see the closes lower, higher than this support level, let's say, or higher than this support level, which they are, and they're lower than this. I guess there was just a lot of demand in the bottom, or there was strong manipulation on New York. Either way, yeah, I would say that price is probably going to go higher than lower. And then you have stack liquidity, 4-hour liquidity in the top, as well as the associated resistance levels. So we'll put those in too. And then otherwise we go up to there. So if we blow through these levels, which is highly probable, after we get to this, which is around 67K, there's a huge gap to 74K. So the test would be developing yearly VWAP, which is what I would want to see. And that could be another confirmed lower high, which would be the interesting thing. So daily as well. So we'll go there. So we're getting lower highs, let's say. We're getting a lower high here on that 97K area. We're getting the lower high on the 82K. And then my thinking is, don't mind that, I haven't changed that yet. My thinking is the target would be around here, developing yearly VWAP to put in another lower high. So between the 69K and the 72, well, however that works out, it would be around here. And then obviously resistance at this daily level as well, around 70, high 73s, 74K. We'll go to the weekly quickly. There is a big FEG in here, which was also the case. Do I have a weekly FEG? And I'll put that as we have a weekly FEG. So something to keep in mind as well. This top was held down by a weekly FEG in here. So it tested it, closed lower, and it got the 50% rule on the FEG. So and it's similar price structure to this. So would this be a confirmation area for another lower high at 69K? Possibly. We'll go to the monthly quickly. Monthly as well has another big FEG. So there's stacked areas where I would potentially wanting to see price rotation downwards again. So 69K is probably the area that you would want to see a reaction. Otherwise, you'd take liquidity in the top here, but I don't think that will be the case. Unless people are unless this is the bottom, which could happen. I'm not saying it's a confirmed bottom, but the reality is this bottom here at 58K, the close and open, was a very strong support level. And it's around 58K, 58.5K here. So what else do we have on RSI? We don't have any pivots yet. We have a pivot here, but is that really confirmed? I don't know. We have weekly bullish divergence. So I'm not really sure. I think I also said as well, with the macro, I'll just change this quickly. Yes, that's what I was looking for. So the macro, so retracement of the bear low to the bull high, perfectly touched the 0.618 for retracement. So is there an area in which I would want to see it move to next? It'd probably be in here. Either the 0.66 or the monthly liquidity. There's stacked weekly and monthly liquidity. It's all in here. High probability. And then where else? So the biggest issue for me is in here. So there's really no close and open that's a distinct support level apart from here. So where I would think price could go to really see a confirmation of price would be here, 30K, or the monthly FEG, if that's going to happen. So where is that? 31K, 30.8K. The other issue here would be that area in, oh no, I've already marked that out. Otherwise, weekly support at 41.5K. And there's a lot of liquidity below that. So that could be another area in which I would be wanting to look at. But yeah, they're the key levels that I would be wanting to see. What else? And then there's weekly support. Oh yeah, I've already got that marked out at high 54.8K. So we'll see. It's in the range of the 618 and the 0.66. And then we also have weekly support below that at 51K. So if it puts in a lower high around, where is it? The weekly FEG that I marked in, and 69K, which pretty much aligns around the midpoint of this weekly FEG, could see rotation to the downside again. I'm not saying it's confirmed, and I'm not saying the low hasn't been put in either, because RSI has gone lower than the bear market low here. The problem here is volume. So comparative volume relative to RSI. High volume coming into the bottom with selling. That's what I would be looking at as well. And we're not getting that. I don't know why, or if it's not scaled correctly. There's something about that. But I'm not sure. But the lowest point for RSI with that bear market low compared to here. So I don't know. It's not something that is making a lot of sense to me. And I don't think it's really scaled correctly. That being said, we get a pivot and two bear divs on increasing volume in the bottom, and then you still get demand increasing. So there's the defined trend on the weekly, let's say. So with increasing volume in the bottom. What else? Oh, we probably get around a 50% rule here too on the weekly, or just about. And then you get the swing of the liquidity. So it's like an SFP. So yeah, it'd be interesting nonetheless to see how that works out. We will go to here. So volume increasing. Oh, I gotta lock that in place. So volume increasing, and now it's reducing again. So we had a reduction in volume, and now we're trending down again with volume, despite having the pivot and the two bear divs, which was the same in the bear market low in 2021, 22. Or is 22? 22, sorry. Oh, 22, yeah. We'll see. But there's definitely a correlation there with RSI, so you can see the pattern. I don't know. I don't know if it's the bottom or not. It could be. If it is, I would be looking for a high low to long off. It doesn't feel like a confirmed low. There's something about it that just feels off. But, you know, I could be completely wrong. Anyway, but we'll see. I hope this helps. You know, it's one of those things where you have to, it's more probability. Trying to see the trend and then go from there. Nothing's ever really confirmed, but there's high probability. And as I said, the 4-hour liquidity 50% rule works very well with support and combined with other factors. Compounding strength. But yeah, it's either the low has already been put in and we're going to go back up, or it's not. With SPX. if it swings this area and then pulls back down, same with the NASDAQ. Like there's a confirmed downtrend with the NASDAQ. Like there. And that's on the daily. And the only thing that's holding it up is developing yearly VWAP, a value area high. I can't get the long-term VWAPs on here. Or it's not populating for some reason. I don't know why. But, you know, we'll see. Maybe it's another options issue like we had here, where people are just speculating on price going higher, and then it's a perpetuating issue where it raises the price ceiling, and then people speculate higher again and get into the market, and then just push shorts out of positions. So high volume at the moment anyway, when it closed. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway. All right, well, that's me done. I've been going on for over 30 minutes. So what about gold as well? So gold is around, I think I did have the yearly level on. If I did or if I didn't, if it's going to populate for me. If it's not, probably not. Yeah, I'll go weekly, I'll go yearly. Previous month. Maybe it's not. Well, it doesn't matter either way. But gold is still trending down as well. We'll see with that. But if it falls through this area, it's going to fall a long way. So I'd be very cautious. I'll be very cautious with gold. Not to say it can't get support and rally back up, but it's dependent upon other market factors as well. So anyway, that is my take for today. Hope it helps you guys. And yeah, 50% rule works quite well. Using composites too, with adjusting it based upon where you think prices move relative to orders, sitting orders. So obviously encompassing this liquidity and people testing orders up here with buys. You can go even higher with that or higher again, like there. I don't know. It would more make sense to put it here because you have the massive sell, and then you have another sell, and then you have a buy retracement, and then you would put it on that, and then you have untouched orders all in here. This is kind of like no man's land, and then you'd have 50% rule, and then you do get it, and you also get the bearish divergence too in the top, which with the closes would be the thing that I would be looking at. So keep that in mind. But yeah. All right, well, that is me done. I'm going to leave it at that. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.